All right. Ms. V, why are we talking about annotations yet again? Well, children, the reason why we are talking about annotations yet again is because this time we are talking about specific strategies to improve on that skill. There are people who are still a bit confused and don't know what to do when faced with a text. The other reason is because the teachers have been asked to focus on like what are going to be the most important skills for the students to have as incoming on the next grade next fall. What are the most important things that we can focus on for the last 5-6 weeks of school? Do you guys realize that we only have 5 or 6 weeks left? Okay, so it was established that reading and writing are the most essential pieces of knowledge skills you need to have next year. How to read effectively, how to write effectively. Okay, this is part of why we had the write-a-thon, and now this is why we are talking about annotations. But this time, again, taking things up to the next level, we are talking about how to annotate like a professional reader, like an expert. Strategies for you to be able to, number one, identify where important ideas or information are located in the text, meaning when you do your rereading or highlighting step, and you highlight those key sentences, what you're doing is you're showing where the important ideas are located, which is going to be useful when you get to your annotation step later. Excuse me. Guys, my allergies today, please forgive my, my allergic things happening. Terrible. Summarizing. This is the new piece that I'm going to be discussing today. What you need to know, being able to summarize what happens in the text, let's say if it's fiction, or what the text is about if it's nonfiction. Lastly, being able to engage with the text by writing your questions, comments, predictions, and connections. And when we see the word engage, here's what I want you to think about. So I want you to think about when you are in a conversation with somebody, how do you know that they are engaged with you? Maybe you're looking for, are they actually looking at you or are they looking down at their phone? Or maybe you're looking at their body posture. Are they more leaning in your direction or leaning away from you? Maybe you're looking for, is the person able to like respond consciously to what I'm saying? Or is it just sort of like they're not really paying attention? You can tell when people are not paying attention, right? When you annotate a text, that is your version of being able to get in a conversation with the author, with your thoughts. And it is true that no, the author cannot speak through the book and answer your questions or talk back with you directly. But what's important is that you have done your side of that conversation, because your brain doesn't actually know that the author can't talk back. Your brain is engaging in the same amount of activity as though you were in a conversation. So I want you to write down, instead of speaking the conversation, I want you to write down the conversation as your annotations. Think of it like that. There's this great saying, like book folks, book people, one of the great sayings is that you're never alone when you have a book. Okay. So we know that the purpose of reading and the purpose of rereading and annotating is to find out the meaning of the text. How do we do that? By paying attention and by writing our responses to what we read. So let's talk about step one, how to reread like a pro. So keep in mind that you're using the highlighter as a tool to make certain sentences stand out and make annotating later on easier for yourself. Instead of just kind of trying to read very quickly through the whole thing, you know what, I'm just going to highlight and annotate at the same time later on. I just want to get through this thing. You are going to have a really hard time going back to your previous ideas. Like, what part was it that I was going to do a comment on again? Or I know I had a question about this paragraph, but I don't remember which sentence that question goes along with. Well, you know, try to make life easier on yourself. Use the highlighter. And here is the question that I still get to this day. How do I know what counts as important in a text? How do I know what to highlight? And key thing to do here, the message of the day, is to pay attention. This reading is not an activity that you could do where it's sort of like the words go through your eyeballs and out your ears and disappear into space. Of course, you're not going to learn anything like that. Pay attention to when you see unfamiliar words you don't know. Circle that or highlight that so you can put in a definition later. Pay attention to when in the text somebody expresses their opinion or shares an idea. Those opinions or ideas are going to be important. They are going to be revealing something to you about the character's personality or about their like decision making or their past. It's always going to be information. Let's say we've got a story about two characters who find a buried treasure. Let's say they are two brothers who find a buried treasure on the beach. The older brother is like, oh, sweet, let's keep it for ourselves and we can use it to feed our family. The younger brother's like, no, let's turn the treasure into the cops and they can figure out who it belongs to because this money doesn't belong to us. So here we have two people, members of a family who are expressing their opinions. If this was on a page, I would highlight each time that a character expressed, yes, we should keep it. No, we should give it to the cops. Those are the things that I would focus in on. Okay. Pay attention to when a major conflict or change happens. So again, with this particular conflict between the brothers and the treasure, I would highlight something or make a note on the side to indicate like, hey, this is a conflict between these two characters, and that's important because it's telling us about their relationship with each other as brothers. It's telling us about who they are and the way that they think or their opinions. Pay attention to those types of things. Pay attention to when people die, when people get married, when people go missing, when people get changed into frogs, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Last thing to pay attention to. When you are reading something that causes some type of emotional response, whether that is excitement or disgust or sadness or disagreement or anger or whatever it is, pay attention to that. Pay attention to your emotions. Why am I feeling this way? What is it about the thing that this character did or said that is making me go, ooh, like that's not right? Or wow, that is so brave. That is so cool. Those are moments that you could use later to write about and respond to the text. Okay. I appreciate your attention as we just barrel along here. So step 2, annotating. I have read the text, I have left my highlights in there, and now I'm ready to go back through and show what I think about the text while I read it. So your annotations are actually like the most common types of thoughts that you may have while something is happening. And by now, we should know what each of these things, questions, comments, predictions, connections, what those are. What I want to focus on is not like what are these, but how do you create thoughtful QCPCs, thoughtful annotations? So if you have set yourself up for success, then you are going to go back to the sentences that you highlighted earlier. You may summarize what is happening in your own words, and this counts as a comment because it's your opinion. Like when you summarize, when you retell what has just happened in a shorter way, maintaining the same key ideas or key events, you're presenting your opinion as to what the text was about, and there you go. That's a comment. Asking how or why questions in fiction, how or why questions about the conflicts that are happening, events in the story, why characters do certain things or why they say certain things, etc. If it's nonfiction, then ask how or why questions about the information that is being presented to you. And then lastly, these 4 bullet points here are just sentence starters for writing your annotations. Things like I wonder, I think, I feel, I predict, I agree or disagree, and all that. These are just sentence starters for you. I think that the one new thing that I'm going to have you do from now on is whenever you write comments, a certain number of those comments will have to automatically be summaries. And the reason for that is because when you write a summary in your own words explaining what has just happened or what that was about, you're showing like this is the minimum level of understanding that I have. It's like, this is what I know. Okay. All right, I'm gonna stop my share. Where is it? There we go. Okay. I would like to see thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. How confident are you in your understanding of what we've been talking about today? I get it. I kind of get it. I don't really get it. All right. Nice. Thank you very much. What we're going to do is, okay, you are going to be doing a group annotation thing, but I want to give you guys a quick break. And then when we come back, we can talk about what the group annotations are going to look like, okay? So before you leave, I am just going to take a quick screenshot for attendance. Okay, come back at 1:01. I will see you in a bit. Stretch, get some water, do your thing.